Welcome back, or welcome to the Cognitive Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Clint Ray, high-performance coach, speaker, and author of The Cognitive Athlete. This podcast is about helping leaders, thinkers, and doers perform at their best without burning out. Because high performance isn't about doing more, it's about doing it better. It's about learning how to manage your focus, your energy, and your recovery so you can sustain success over the long haul. Every week, we explore the science and psychology of human performance, how to stay clear-headed under pressure, how to protect your energy throughout the day, and how to build the rhythm that allows you to perform at a constant high level. Last episode, we talked about deep work, why focus is the new superpower. Today, we're shifting to the thing that makes focus possible, recovery, and not the once-a-year Bali holiday. I'm talking about micro-recovery, small resets that keep your brain operating at its best. Let's dive into it. Let me take you back to my days working with the RAF ski team. It was the summer. It was France. We're in a training camp. We were doing run after run down the mountain in the summer. And like most athletes, the team kept pushing for one more run. But the harder they pushed, the worse everyone got. Sloppy lines, missed gates, mistakes they normally wouldn't make. They weren't physically tired, they were cognitively tired. Their decision making had dipped, their reaction time had slowed. So we stopped. We said, right, from now on, the chairlift up the mountain is a recovery zone. That became a bit of a mini ritual. Slow breathing, replaying the last run, visualizing the next line, and then arrive at the top of the mountain mentally clear. And the difference, it was immediate straight away. The next runs were smooth, they were sharp, and they were fast. Not because we trained harder, but because we rested smarter. That's when micro-recovery really clicked in for me. It doesn't take a holiday, it doesn't take a weekend away. It takes a 2-minute reset, a moment on the chairlift, to unlock drastically better performance. Now fast forward to my corporate life, and nobody's taking the corporate version of the chairlift moment. I bet if you looked at your diary right now and asked the question what it looks like, I bet you it is complete chaos. And I see it all the time. Double bookings, maybe even triple bookings, no buffers, no breathing space, and I guarantee you, not even a lunch break. And guess what? Even if you have a lunch break, someone is probably going to book a meeting over the top of it. You have meetings from, let's say, 8:30 all the way to 5. And then that's when you start to do your actual work, right? When your brain is already toast. And whenever I talk about micro-recoveries, taking 3 minutes between meetings, maybe 10 minutes every 90 minutes, people always say, Clint, I don't have time for breaks. I'll fall behind. And my answer is always the same. That, my friend, is the problem. If your diary is so full, you can't take a 3-minute reset. It's not a time issue, it's a discipline issue. And I mean the discipline to say no, the discipline to delegate effectively, or the discipline to hand back the work to someone else with clear boundaries. Because the research is blunt. Microsoft's Human Factors Lab found that without breaks, stress spikes, cognitive performance tanks, creativity shuts down, and decision quality drops. Not over weeks, but within hours. It's not big breaks you need, it's the small ones. And here's a key insight. The science behind micro-recovery is your brain isn't built for non-stop output. The prefrontal cortex, which is the part responsible for decision-making, problem-solving and focus, it fatigues quickly. We run on 90 to 120-minute energy cycles, and they're called ultradian rhythms. You peak, then you dip. Push through the dip, the cortisol rises, errors increase, and performance becomes shallow. Micro-recovery works because it resets your system before the dip becomes a crash. And that is where the ski team example matters. During training, our chairlift rituals was a perfect micro-recovery loop. You work, you recover, reflect, reset, and then at the top of the mountain, you go again. Corporate athletes can and should do the same. I still use this strategy today. Before I walk into a keynote or workshop, I always arrive early. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that military habit of 5 minutes early is already 5 minutes late. So I'm always early to everything. And I have a small ritual. I take in the surroundings, and that could be colors, sounds, temperature. I then think about the audience and how I want to show up for them and the key message I want them to walk away with. I center myself. I either do some breathing or I stand up and move about. And then finally, I listen to some music that sets me in the right state of mind. What I don't do is I don't cram at the last minute, because what I know about cramming, it spikes cortisol and leads to the exact moment that we all fear, blanking when it really matters. And guess what? That's happened to me. There's an old military saying, prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. So I trust the work I've done, and I use a micro-recovery moment just before my performance to show up at my best. And that is the essence of the cognitive athlete. Small resets creates big gains. Yeah, great, Clint. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, here you go. Here are a few options that you can start using today. Number one, you could do a psychological reset, and it doesn't have to be any longer than 1 minute. You could do box breathing. So that's inhaling for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds. Repeat that 4 times. Or you could do the 4-7-8 breath, which is in for 4, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your fight and flight, which then relaxes you. The second thing that you can do is you can do a physical reset. So this is, you can stand, you can stretch, you can walk about. It's all about movement. Third one is a cognitive reset. You can just stare out of the window, let your mind wander, or maybe even close your eyes for 20 seconds. Fourth one, you can have an emotional reset. So I always give a journal to all of my clients to just jot down during the day emotional triggers, and then label those emotions and put in a gratitude moment. And the final one, you can do a social reset. So if you're anything like me, I like to be around people. So we go for maybe a positive interaction, a quick check-in with someone, or just a bit of a moment of humor and a joke. It's not really about the size of the break. It's about the frequency of those breaks. Like we said, your brain works in rhythms. So those breaks need to be every 90 or 120 minutes. If you have ADHD, then those breaks need to be shorter. But what I'm saying is that we need to start putting these micro breaks for you to operate at your best. As always with these pods, here are the key takeaways. This is an action step that you can take this week. Actually, you should do it now, and it's a practical one. I want you to open your diary, literally look at it right now or the next chance that you get. I want you, number one, to block in a lunch break. Start there, it's a non-negotiable. If you don't protect it, no one else will. Step 2, review your week and decline anything that doesn't add value. If a meeting has no clear purpose, no clear outcome, or you're not essential, decline it. Protect your time like it matters, because guess what it does. Step 3, guard your focus windows. Whether you're a morning person, a midday or afternoon thinker, block those times for deep work. Make them untouchable. That is where your best work happens. Step 4, set a hard cut-off time, a time when your work stops. Not when you run out of juice, but when you actually have a finish line. Step 5, decide what your micro breaks are going to be. Write them down. Are you going to do a walk? Are you going to do some breathing exercises? Are you going to just look out the window or stretch? If you don't have it written down, you're going to forget it. Step 6, change your default meeting settings in Outlook. Switch the meetings from 25 minutes instead of 30 and 50 minutes instead of 60. That alone gives you a built-in buffers for micro recovery. I've got a video on my YouTube channel, so head over there now. Now, I know what you're thinking. Clint, I can't say no to my boss, right? Well, here's my challenge back to you. They're sending that meeting request at a time that works for them. they have no idea what your workload looks like. It's your responsibility to protect your performance, not theirs. And here's the real question. When you're exhausted, stressed, and running on empty, what do you say to yourself? I wish I'd gone to more unnecessary meetings, or I wish I'd put more breaks in my day so after work I turn up primed for those people that need my energy the most. At the end of the day, your body keeps the score. It remembers every sprint with no recovery. So protect it and your performance with a micro-recovery. So that's a micro-recovery, the small resets that protect your energy and keep you performing at your best. If today's episode helped you, please hit follow, like or subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a quick review. It really helps. It boosts the podcast and gets these ideas in front of the people who need them the most. And if you haven't already pre-ordered The Cognitive Athlete, head over to the website cognitiveathlete.com.au. You'll also find some free tools and resources to help you manage your energy, sharpen your focus and perform at your best. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, small breaks create big gains.